Yeah. This is my reaction to that. So, as I try to marshal my thoughts here, what is this? This is a sort of hybrid pistol carbine thing. Permanently attached bayonet, which is weird in itself. What, a couple of inches sticking out the front of the blade? That's a slightly weird take on fanning. It almost looked like the ammunition changed, and then he could suddenly fan it really quickly. Right, so I thought that sight was some sort of a red dot reflex sight. It's not. Okay, we've got some kind of a submachine gunny looking space gun thing. Reminds me of something, and I think that something is a Nerf gun. So we throw this rifle roughly to the floor, and it grows legs and starts attacking of its own accord. We magically have another one after we've thrown that one. Okay, they really love trigger guards in this game. Very futuristic looking weapon with some quite recognizable accessories. And it's a bullpup, so I automatically have an affinity for it, having written 630 odd pages on bullpups. It's funny how in sci-fi games, well actually in movies as well, how even if the gun is quite science fiction, the accessories tend to just be off-the-shelf accessories, just bolted on. There is, several degrees removed, a real gun under all this, at least in concept. Front half is just completely wacky. Don't know what that is. This is an unusual take on the underbarrel secondary weapon concept. Rather than just firing it from where it is, i.e. under the barrel, we hit a button and the whole front of the gun rotates to place the secondary weapon in front of the action. You only need one breech mechanism, but the breech mechanism for an underbarrel shotgun or grenade launcher is typically a very simple double action trigger. Wow. I don't know if I'm even allowed to read this out, but this is apparently the one pump chump. I mean, what else can I say? Kind of intriguing, but stupid. If I had to categorize this, I'd say it's probably going to be some sort of light machine gun, but this game is throwing me for a loop time after time. It is a sort of hybrid of a Gatling machine gun and an anti-material rifle. You fire it from the hip, the barrels spin round and give you presumably cooling advantage, maybe rate of fire advantage, but then we zoom in and we can fire it slowly like a sniper rifle. Very much a sci-fi pistol. I'm not sure about the little bobbly grip textures. That sort of texture tends not to be grippy enough. This has a trigger guard on its trigger guard, so you can trigger guard while you trigger guard. I don't know, it's redundant design. So this is an energy weapon, as predicted, with two different types of ammunition. Luckily, it tells you what they are. So incendiary and also shock rounds, which I presume will have a stun effect. So I guess we have a reason for that second trigger guard in that it's a stop for your hand for a two-handed pistol. Something that looks to require that you hold it with two hands because it's that chunky and heavy. You may as well have something with a stock on it and be able to deliver more accurate fire. And this has no capability of fitting a stock to it. I'm overthinking it. All right, well, Gears of War-esque permanently attached sword bayonet that has zero penetration because it barely sticks forward of the muzzle. It has a serrated top of the blade, as real blades often do, but you can't use the top of the back of the blade, I should say, because it's attached to the gun. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because this thing is some sort of Tesla punk nightmare. And the right-hand side is even more insane than the left. I'm seeing a bicycle chain on this thing. Now, there are real-world guns that are driven or have chains, although it's a bonkers feature to see on this equally bonkers gun. That, at least, has some parallel in reality. Conventional firearm in that it has bullets. It's using incendiary rounds of some kind, and then there's some chance of it catching on fire, and you then have to pour liquid on it to put it out. You generally don't shoot the barrel to destruction, pull the barrel off and slap a new one on. I'm not even sure where you'd carry that. Probably the most conventional gun I've seen yet. So what looks to be a fire selector is not a fire selector. It is changing the zoom on the scope. Don't know why that would be a thing, and I don't know why you'd operate it using a switch on the gun, especially one that is, by the tradition of the better part of a century, a fire selector, or at least a safety. So that's a slightly perplexing design choice. Gatling gun. I don't know what they mean by that. It's a Gatling gun that Gatlings, I suppose. I can feel my IQ lowering. Watch me crank it, watch me roll. Well, I don't think I'm any clearer on what a Gatling gun is, but it has this weird drum car wheel magazine thing, and it's not clear where the rounds go. So each spoke feeds around one after the other. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, until all of the spokes are empty is the best I can do on that one. All right, I think I recognize a Quake 2 style space shotgun when I see one. I'm pretty confident this is going to be a sort of shotgun that fires big hot chunks of metal. Nope, it's not that. I should have taken it more literally. It fires literal flak shells. In this case, unsurprisingly, a shoulder-fired flak gun is a risk to the user. You shoot explosive shells out of a shoulder-fired gun. It's probably going to be a bad day for you as well as the enemy. Of all of the names for guns that I've seen, Wedding Invitation is probably the weirdest. Interesting. Very, very long scope. Didn't see the revolver sniper rifle nature of this coming, but there it is. The cocking handle is ornamental, and the cocking piece is the cocking handle. And then we're somehow using that to fire it really quickly. And then it's also a revolver with a swing out cylinder, and my brain hurts. But then with future technology, why would you have a straight pull revolver rifle? Okay, squinting very hard, I can sort of see Uzi. You could almost see a movie making this by putting an Uzi in a housing of some sort. Oh wow, this is breaking me. We've got 2 fire modes, but we have 3 magazines, and then the fire modes are feeding from. But even though there are 3 barrels on the top section and then a 4th barrel on the bottom, but the fire mode is called double barrel. And this is like something from a fever dream. And I think I'm just going to give up. I mean, what can I say? It's called the Porta Pooper 5000. I mean, do you really want an attempt at serious commentary on this thing? I don't know if there's a clean version of this gun. Inexplicably, the yellow bits are clean. And then the rest of it is just brown. Maybe it's an aesthetic. I don't know. Well, as we could have predicted, it's a sort of flamethrower looking grenade launcher that fires radiated shite. And then, yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's happening with the rest of it. We seem to be recoating it with poop at one point. It all makes sense, but only within the universe of Borderlands, I think.
Yeah, this one's not even a gun, but
goodness sake. Hey, the series is called Expert Reacts, and that's my reaction.